Hello, and welcome to 5 for Friday for this Friday, July 8th. If you enjoy these videos, then I have good news. I'm going to make the videos available to the public, so please think about who you know that might enjoy a quick recap of stories each week that could impact small businesses like the ones I share, and maybe provide just a little bit of entertainment value as well. So think about that. Thanks. All right, now let's get started with story number 1. How secure is your cloud? You should be aware that both the US and UK governments are worried that the Chinese government is trying to steal our technology to undercut US businesses. And a lot of this has to do with accessing data online. So make sure you use multi-factor authentication for all your data and private information. Apparently, over half of SMEs have not set this up yet. Have you? And with all that password protection, consider what might happen if you were to be hit by a bus. Does anyone in your office or at home know how to access your online accounts? If not, it's time to put a plan in motion. So check the links in the stories to learn more. All right, moving on to story number 2, advances in artificial intelligence. First, if you think VR goggles are too big and cumbersome, then I have good news for you. Let's try the new smart contact lenses. It's just like sticking a mini computer right in your eye. I think it needs a little more work. And good news for you Californians, AI is going to help your insurance company determine if your house is likely to burn down or not in the next wildfire. Expect your insurance rates to be adjusted accordingly. AI is also going to help with offsides calls at the upcoming World Cup this year, which is less scary than the news that Microsoft and Google are using AI to infer people's emotions. Despite some pushback, they claim it helps blind people communicate better. I have my doubts. Can you infer my emotion there, Google? All right, on to story number 3. EVs are so last year's news, or even further. Way back in 2009, a tax credit was created to encourage car makers to make EVs and to help buyers offset the cost. Each car maker had a cap of 200,000 vehicles, and so far Tesla, GM, and now Toyota have all hit that limit. So we might have plenty of EVs on the road, but we still seem to be short on charging stations. But that's going to change with $450 million in equity investment for a company to put charging stations all across the US and Canada. We're still figuring out how to make those EVs autonomous, and most people are using either cameras or LiDAR, like light sensors, but there's a new startup that thinks that radar will work better. So we'll see. I still prefer my truly manual, as in 6-speed manual transmission car. All right, moving on to story number 4, the future of your employees. Quick summary, people are not really big into returning to big expensive cities post-COVID, which is impacting tax revenue for big cities. And Kansas City, Missouri has been rated the best city in the world for remote work. What a surprise, I had no idea. Other changes expected in the working world. As people are able to work remotely, it's expected they'll choose to live near family again. And with the ongoing job shortage, Afghan and other refugees are seen as a great resource for filling jobs, and maybe better to work with other than instead of robots, which apparently are causing us to suffer from mental health issues. So let's keep abreast of that. And for story number 5, even more questionable ethics by big corporations. Last week I talked about a bunch of different unethical decisions, and this week, still more. Go figure. Some highlights include a private equity firm that's making the movie The Perfect Storm seem even more tragic in its reboot. Another corporation is following every move you make with your mouse. That's a questionable move as well. Universities have found a new line of profit. They just have to trick people into thinking they're teaching the course rather than the staff of a for-profit who does all the recruiting and teaching in a shady sort of way. And my favorite, Ernst & Young in the news again for coming up with a very questionable way for a client to avoid federal taxes and then auditing the very same client they consulted with, essentially okaying that questionable tactic. Worked great until it didn't. All right, that's the last of our 5 stories for this week. And of course, in our recession yes or no, I can tell you we have 1 pessimistic story and 4 slightly more optimistic ones, which is a better ratio than we had last week. And guess what? A bonus follow-up story this week about Jeff Bezos and his mega yacht being built in Rotterdam. I've been following this one for a while, so maybe you remember this. And it looks like a final decision has been made on tearing down a historic bridge. So, I'm not going to tell you the answer. Read the newsletter for more. That's it for this week. And as I said, if you like this video, then share that with your friends. We'll see if we can get more of an audience for 5 for Friday. And of course, check out the newsletter that contains links to all the stories and more details than I can share in the video. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you here next week. Thanks.